We are back, going to be discussing the WWE Live at Madison Square Garden for only $9.99.
It's true.
It's damn true. There's a Kurt Angle quote. Uh,
Oh, the wrestling. I love they couldn't just call it Madison Square Garden. They had to keep calling it MSG. And I'm like, now I want Chinese food.
that's exactly how I felt. I'm like, yeah, you hand me some of that Chinese food or these fatty chips I'm eating while watching this.
As you should, because, that's the ideal snack for wrestling.
Right. You know what else was ideal? It was actually a pretty good event. There was a
It was. This
few,
was definitely the first one of those for me. So, this was yet another notch in my wrestling belt for having just started watching just recently.
Right, and what really surprised me was like, I start the show and I see a cage hanging up there. I'm like, oh man, there's a cage match? I didn't know this. I don't think many people knew this, so... Cause,
No, I didn't think it was. I thought Hell in the Cell was like 4 weeks from now, but now you get a cage match already.
yeah, we got a cage match now, then we'll get Hell in a Cell in end of the month, so... Started off with Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler, and if Randy Orton's in a match, $10 on he's facing Sheamus. So of course Sheamus and Rusev were on the other side.
Which is such a wonderful pairing because it's like, hey guys, are you sick of Orton versus Sheamus? Are you sick of Ziggler, versus Rusev? Well, I bet you won't be sick of it if they're all together fighting.
Yeah, so 9-minute match. It was decent-ish. I mean, it wasn't a terrible way to start off the pay-per-view on WWE Network, but it was like, well, let's just get this out of the way so people don't have to moan and groan for if we toss Randy Orton and Sheamus later on.
It felt very much like, okay, everyone, we're getting this out of the way first. It's fine. It's okay. And I think really the biggest fallout of this is that, Rusev got really mad at Sheamus. He's like, da, you non-American, you screw up, da, cold fish lana, which is basically all Rusev is these days.
It's true. It's really true. So, I mean, that happened. It really, I thought after this, I'm like, it can't get much worse. But little did I know, they're going to toss on for the 89th time this year, Neville versus Stardust.
I like these two so much, but I hate that they've only been fighting each other. It's like, you guys need to see other people, and I know I'm saying this every week now. And again, not a bad match by any stretch of the imagination. There was a nice spot where Stardust puts on Neville's little cape hoodie thing, and it looks like he's about to do, the red air up, but then he's like, fuck that, I'm not that talented, I can't do that.
And it's like, it's one of these things where I'm like, man, if you were to, give this to someone legit, they could just change the ropes and the lighting of the crowd every week and just literally replay the same match because it's like they hit all their spots.
They do all their super moves, all their cool stuff.
Right, and then it ends the same way. I'm just like, all right, well, Neville defeats Stardust. What's next? And next was Team Bella versus PCB.
Brie Bella and them were wearing their nice little red ass short numbers to where I'm like, oh, I might actually watch this for a little bit.
Right, and so Team Bella ended up winning, and this match, they have this feeling, or I don't know what it is. Obviously they tried to turn Paige heel. Yes. But then Vince McMahon was probably like, but she brings in some money with her merchandise, so we can't do that. So
can't make her evil yet.
Right. So make her bipolar or something. And it's like,
I guess.
Yeah, so like at the end of the match, it's like, why did you guys betray me or something? I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, not again.
Because you were in the middle of a heel turn. We watched the show, Paige. We know what's going on. Her and Kane are doing the same thing where it's like, no, I'm not evil. I'm not. What?
It's like, oh, maybe they'll just focus on the guys or they'll just focus on the girls, so it's not the same storyline happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that match was it was a match.
It sure was. No one can take that away from it.
The next match, really good. Chris Jericho.
My favorite of the night. I freaking loved this.
Yep, I knew it was going to be awesome when it's like, all right, Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens. It was like an 8-minute match, just over 8 minutes. Jericho, when he shows up, he brings his A game pretty much every time.
He really does, and he got a gigantic pop from the audience. Chants of "This is awesome" and Y2J, and everyone, they knew his catchphrases. They knew everything. He went on a beautiful little speech about how this was his own 25th year anniversary,
literally to the date from his professional debut. So
yeah, up in Canada, up in Alberta, there, eh? and talking about how his dad played hockey for the Rangers and everything. It was a really great, really beautiful little moment. And in a way, this was kind of like a Canadian torch passing moment because, of
Right.
course, Y2J being the cool, hip Canadian guy going up against the new big Canadian guy, Kevin Owens, and they had a hell of a match.
Yeah, they did. I really liked that. Like, they showed like the crowd, right? And in
Mhm.
it was like one of Jericho's longtime friends, former WCW, ECW, and WWE star Lance Storm.
Lance
I
Storm, yeah.
hardcore marked out. I was like, oh, Lance Storm is here.
And I marked out too because sitting next to Lance Storm was Jon Stewart.
Yup, and his kid and stuff. So I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I thought Jericho was maybe going to win, but there's no way. He's like a part timer. I mean, they'll only give titles to part timers if their name is Brock Lesnar. So
Absolutely. I mean, the thing, and God bless Jericho for doing this too. He did this at Night of Champions as well. It seems whenever he comes back now, it's to help put over the new young guys. And that's really nice that he doesn't have the sort of ego to be like, no, my record can never be tarnished.
He ain't no Hogan or Steve Austin or one of these guys that's like, no, I'm not putting over to a young whippersnapper.
Yeah, he does what you arguably are supposed to do, and that is you go out on your back and you help out the new talent. I think Kevin Owens got a great, pop from this, but of course, because he's still the heel and still the bad guy, he had to be a sore winner about it. There was a great spot when he was going back, and a bunch of Cena fans were giving him boos and thumbs down. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did that make you sad?"
And I'm like, like when you're saying that, the entire match, I'm watching the crowd, and this was probably the loudest pop I've seen this night. Like when he was coming out there, man, it was like an implosion of roar. So,
oh God, yeah. I mean, just really well booked match. They did all the moves. They did the walls of Jericho. Kevin Owens did that cool cannonball thing he does. Heck, he even got on the top ropes, which blew me away as a bigger guy. Where it's like, whoa, guys your size usually don't go on the top ropes.
He did a full-on senton bomb. Like it was legit. Like a really good match for both guys. Really showed some talent on both parts. Jericho could still hang. Kevin Owens, this kind of, like you said, passing the torch. So, next up, though, we had the Dudleys versus the New Day, which
is always a crowd pleaser.
Oh yeah, Big E and Kofi. The crowd was also like hardcore into this match. So,
oh, of course they were, and it was great too for the Dudleys. They had a little clip package where they're like, we grew up in New York, we went to Madison Square Garden all the time. Imagine if we won our 10th tag team title here tonight at this thing. And obviously they weren't going to win because the New Day is just too molten hot to lose.
Right. And this was a pretty good back and forth match. Unfortunately, this is WWE, so it's not a night without a DQ. So it did end by DQ.
Which is starting to become a theme for these Dudley Boyz New Days matches where it's like, they win, but also, they kind of got to be dicks about it, and then someone gets put through a table. So even though the Dudleys lose and they don't get their 10th, they still get to put someone through a table all the same.
Right. So Xavier ended up, through the table.
Again, and I love their little thing there. It's like, can you believe what they did to our little buddy Xavier? I mean, he's just so shy and so introverted and so humble. He's none of those things.
So the next match we were treated to, the much hyped, the much anticipated 4 minutes of Brock Lesnar versus Big Show.
That's all I got. That's really...
When the match ended, I can go and pinpoint in the crowd of how disappointed the fucking crowd was.
God, I mean, even before the match started, did you see how much Big Show was sweating, in the first 5 minutes? He looked like someone doused him.
Yeah, it was... So, I mean, Big Show comes out, Brock comes out, and it's 3.5 minutes of Big Show choke slamming Brock, and he just keeps popping back up. Now, mind you...
Suplex.
Right. When John Cena gets up after a move like that, everybody flips out. But Brock has to like, it's fine. It's Brock, the Beast. He gets up, lazy suplex, F5 pin. It was so... I don't know what they were doing. I mean, are they trying to put Big Show over as a monster, which clearly they're trying still?
Super hard.
So he just gets crushed in 4 minutes after 4 moves.
Well, it's funny they had mentioned before, the big, and it was here in this place that Honky Tonk Man took on the Ultimate Warrior, and it was one of the shortest matches ever. And I'm like, is this what you were trying to do? Were you trying to recreate another short match?
Yeah,
the big booking, I'm sure, went into this where it was like, oh, isn't it impressive that Lesnar can lift up Big Show and that Big Show can lift up Lesnar? I'm like, it's a little impressive, I guess, but I wouldn't build a match around it.
Yeah, and I think that was the whole thing they had going with the match. Like, well, we're building Brock up to be, the ultimate undefeated, the conqueror of the streak. So he has to beat Big Show because Big Show beat him before, and we have to get that off the record now. So
of course, did anyone think Big Show was going to win realistically?
Like, I think people expected at least a good back and forth match, but it felt one-sided, and I mean one-sided to the point where it was like it was just dead after this match. Like, thank God the main event was here.
Which is funny because they were selling this one like it was the big event, like all week on Raw and the lead-up where it's like, oh, the Beast versus a Giant, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Yup.
Total squash match, 4 minutes.
Total squash match. Move on to the main event. Here's a package. Seth Rollins versus John Cena.
Again.
Yeah, in a steel cage match though, and
was not expecting that.
Nope, was not. I was super shocked when they had a cage at the show. I even started tweeting. I was like, "Who the hell's the cage match?" Because I missed the intro package, so I was oh, I'm super excited. This match.
This is my first cage match, actually, my first official cage match that I've seen since I've been watching.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. So this was all new to me. I'm like, but what a cage? You don't say.
My big problem with it back in my good old days in 2001 when Kurt Angle fought Benoit, it was like it used to be escape the cage to win. Now they're like, you can pin, you can submit, or you can escape, or you can go through the door. I'm like, motherfuckers, then what's the cage there for?
Yeah, really, the cage doesn't seem to be doing much then. It should be like a no way out match. It seems like there's many ways out.
Right. So a 22, almost 23-minute match with these two. They both really gave it their all in this one.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a couple matches in a row now, and I gotta say, they've been some really good matches, and you can see going in that they're like, how do we top ourselves this time,
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously you can throw a lot of shit at Cena, and a lot of shit is deserved, but I think he works well off Seth Rollins. I think they got a good back and forth going.
Yeah, they do. A few, top rope moves, fought on top of the cage. Some really, is he going to touch the bottom? No, he's not. Of course, it came down to the end of the match. We see, Seth Rollins is about to escape. Here comes the Demon Kane. So he can't.
Still messing with him all like Bugs and Elmer style, where it's like, oh, I'm going to get that wascally Seth Rollins. He's not going to win this time.
So he comes down, and Seth Rollins has no choice but to go back up. And he goes for a frog splash, which must have been like an 18 to 20 foot drop onto his chest.
Yeah, that was brave. And it's funny, you say he had no choice. I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, well, obviously I would go down, take a whooping from Kane, but my feet would still touch the ground, so I would win, instead of getting back in the cage, risking losing to John Cena, and still getting beat up by Kane anyway, which is what happened. It's a beautiful moment where the reality of wrestling and like the fiction of it kind of hit me in the face, where I'm like, oh yeah, for story purposes, he needs to do this.
Right. But here was the thing. This felt like a loss that Seth Rollins took that actually made sense. It wasn't a clean pin. He missed a giant move, and he legitimately was selling that he was dying in the ring. So when Cena pins him, it's like,
he was.
Right, when Cena pins him, I'm like, all right, this makes sense. But when it's always like a clean pin every other week, I'm like, you guys are fucking booking this wrong. So from a booking standpoint, I thought this match made sense. Like, John Cena went over, but, he clearly had help from Kane, and Seth Rollins was, stumbling around in the ring after a huge miss. So
and the fact that Kane keeps touching the belt, I can only assume that they're working that up to be a WrestleMania match when that happens. Rollins versus Kane for all the marbles.
I don't even think they stick around that long. I'm thinking they're gonna pull that at Hell in a Cell. Like,
do you?
Hell in a Cell. If my prediction is if Kane wins, he holds it for 2 months and he's retiring. So it's like a final hurrah for Kane. He
gets to go out on top.
Right. And if not, then they keep playing around with it, and maybe they push it, but I really feel like Kane's time is up. Like, he wants to step away, and that's why they put him back in a mask, because that's what the fans always wanted, So
He is getting to have a fun storyline too, where he's just like, that no one believes Seth Rollins, even though it's clearly Kane doing all this, and he's like, "No, Renee Young, it's not me. Look, my legs hurt and everything. I can't possibly be Kane, but you're obviously Kane. We saw you come out of the ambulance and everything. What? No, what? Come
I'm
on."
smiling. Do I look like I would go after Seth Rollins? Because I totally wouldn't.
Yeah, like again, like that's just like a pure comedy bit, and I love they're almost making like this split personality thing. Like, wouldn't that be some shit? Where he's like, "Oh, I don't actually know what the other Kane is doing."
They'll bring back that fake Kane and finally finish that storyline. I'm telling you, man.
That's where it's building up. Again, man, Vince McMahon, huge fan of continuity. This is how it all comes together.
He's had this planned for like 2 decades. He's like, this is what's gonna do. We're gonna pay this off in 2015.
Crisis on Infinite Canes.
So overall, I was super satisfied with this event. I thought, besides the much overhyped and uber disappointing Brock Lesnar Big Show match, I thought everything else was pretty good.
I would say weak opening, stellar middle. Again, crappy actual big match that they were promoting, but it ended strong, and that's really, I think, all you can do is end strong and leave the fans wanting more.
I'm going to tell you right now, this Big Show versus Brock might be up there with Goldberg versus Brock at WrestleMania for how bad and lazy it is.
I'm going to have to Google that when I'm done.
If you ever get a chance, just watch that, but make sure you're at least drunk or something, because it was fucking terrible. Because here was the thing. I'll set up what was happening. Goldberg, the day after the previous WrestleMania, signed a contract to do a full year till WrestleMania, and that was going to be his last match. Brock Lesnar did the same thing, and I think this was the first time he was going to go to UFC, or if was he trying to go back to football. So it was his last match too. So they booked the two unstoppable beasts, Goldberg, winning streak, all that, and versus Brock, and both guys just didn't care because it was their last match. So they're literally just stumbling around the ring with Austin as the special ref, and it was like one of those things where literally people were calling and being like, "I want my money back." And they were like, "Well, I guess we can't do anything but give people their money back." I mean, it sucked.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So just a giant, don't give a fuck circus.
Yeah, it was god awful. So this was up there with it for me.
Oh, wow. What was another cool thing about this match, and this is something that maybe some people picked up on and some didn't, but I noticed a lot of fans in the audience were wearing OSW Old School Wrestling Review Show t-shirts, and I'm like, awesome.
That's cool.
One day they'll be wearing Scoop Slam t-shirts. Once we make and distribute Scoop Slam t-shirts.
If fucking TLC tickets will ever go on sale, I'll have one, but I guess they won't.
It'll just be Armin sitting there. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. I'm the undisputed Scoop Slam champion. Do you guys have a championship? No.
You'll be, You'll be Nux. You'll be like, witness me. WWE Universe.
Look at me. I'm the next Zack Ryder.
Oh.
So, what'd you think of this? I would give this a solid 8.
I'm right there with you. Solid event. Liked it quite a bit, actually. Thought there was some good stuff there. Because I'm a new fan, and so my reference pool is kind of small, honestly. But yeah, that Owens Chris Jericho match. I mean, that might be one of my favorite matches right now, going in for stuff that I've watched. Like, I know I'm going to remember that.
Right. Yeah, pretty awesome that you have one of those on your first cage match. That's a lot of good stuff you experienced now.
Yeah.
You're going to experience your first Hell in a Cell soon, so...
True. Yeah, I'm looking forward to... And right around Halloween time, too. There's another question for you. Does the WWE, do they get seasonal? Do they have, Christmas
No, I wish they fucking brought back... If they should have kept anything from WCW, it was that. I would love to see freaking Halloween Havoc back or something like that.
Which, speaking of Big Show, he had a great thing there with the Dungeon of Doom in the Halloween Havoc, when him and Hogan had a freaking monster truck fight.
Oh, fuck. That was awful.
Yes, it was.
5 minutes on the roof, tugging, and they're pushing each other. I'm like, I can see the harness, you assholes.
And people wonder why that company went under, spending millions of dollars on monster truck fights.
And the
Yeti! Who's a mummy wrapped in toilet paper.
I had friends who swore by WCW, and after they saw that, they slowly started converting.
Yeah, the Yeti.
So thanks for joining us, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll be back with more Raws, and eventually that Hell in a Cell. Ooh, gonna be our first pay-per-view we're gonna do on here.
Mm-hmm. Tonight is the night.
Bright lights, shining stars, some.
Something tonight.
Yeah. Do they still do new songs for pay-per-views? I can't even remember that.
I don't think they do. I know since I've been watching, I haven't heard new theme songs.
I know SummerSlam had it, but well,
Mm-hmm.
fuck, they don't even do arenas, man. Damn it. Well, that's another thing. I'm gonna give this props because it also had a slightly different arena. You know.
Yes, it did.
It was tiny and cool.
It had arguably one of the best arenas in the world. Yeah, Madison Square Garden.
Yep. So there we go. Yeah. Thanks. And later, guys.
Scoop slam it.